Yeah, I'm Eric Opoku, Minister in charge of Ashanti region. When I say Minister in charge of the Ashanti region, per the laws of our country, I am the representative of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana in the Ashanti region. Yeah, somehow it may be equivalent, but looking at the functions of the governor of the state in the United States and then the functions of the regional minister in Ghana, there may be some differences. The regional minister has no capacity under the laws of Ghana to generate revenue. The regional minister exercises supervisory role over district assemblies that are found in the region. In Ashanti region, for instance, we have 30 metropolitan municipal district assemblies. We categorize them under metropolitan municipal districts based on the number of people in a particular area. If you have a population below 65,000, you'll get a district assembly. Between 65 and 95,000, we have municipal. And beyond that, we have metropolitan. So here in Ashanti region, we have one metropolitan assembly, some few municipal assemblies, and then district assemblies, making 30 district assembly units with district chief executives functioning. And then the regional minister monitor, coordinate, and ensure that whatever decisions that they take, policy decisions that they take at that level, is in consonance with the general agenda set for this nation by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana. So basically, our job is to monitor, to coordinate, and evaluate the performance of metropolitan municipal district chief executives. It is because of citizen participation that Ghana embarked on this decentralization policy. Decentralization in our country simply means moving governance to the doorpost of the ordinary citizen, thereby creating the opportunity for everybody to participate in the governance of the states. So whilst we have the central government located at the national capital, we have the government being represented at the national level. Then when you go to the grassroots, that is where we have the district assemblies. At the district assemblies, we have partitioned the district assemblies into electoral areas where the people in those communities elect their representatives to represent them at the local assembly, where they make local laws to ensure the smooth running of that particular locality. So the citizens elect their own representatives to the local assemblies at the district level, and then they will legislate. They make laws, but their laws must be in consonance with all the laws emanating from the National Legislative Assembly. At the National Assembly, we have members of parliament elected to represent the people. There is no government appointee at the National Legislative Assembly. I am a member of parliament. I was elected by my constituents, Asuna, the people of Asuna South in the Brun-Ahafo region, to represent them in parliament. Then when you come to the local assembly, at the local assembly, government is allowed, per the laws of our country, to appoint 30% of the total membership of the assembly. So at the local level, the people will elect 70% of the membership, and then government will also appoint 30%. The purpose of preserving this appointment for the president is that after the elections, we have to ensure that some specific institutions or some specific individuals with specialized knowledge in certain critical aspects of our life and our governance are recruited into the assembly. So this 30% appointment provides His Excellency the opportunity to ensure that we get some experts to the assembly to be able to help them. One, we have to get a representative from the traditional authorities at the assembly, because decisions are going to be made for the local people. And they are also traditional chiefs. They exert influence on society. They have a lot of the people within their areas of jurisdiction. So when you get a representative from the traditional authorities, being part of decision making in governance at the local level, then definitely you are going to get a lot of people moving before wherever the assembly is going.
Mr. Chairman.
Then you also look at the clergy. The clergy, they also have their own people. They have their own constituencies. In churches, mosques, wherever, they are also represented. And the 30% appointment gives them the opportunity to be recognized and represented duly in the assemblies. That is a very good question. Right from the beginning, the traditional chiefs have been the spiritual leaders of their people. They have been the spiritual leaders. They were not into direct development of their communities because they do not have the ability to tax the people. In the olden days, they could mobilize their people to contribute towards a project. And even today, they are able to do that as a way of mobilizing resources to develop their areas. But they don't have the capacity to tax the people. Government has the capacity to tax the people, to tap into available resources, to raise enough money to ensure development across the country. So now, what we are doing is that, yes, without the white man, when the white man had not been here, these are the people, the traditional authorities are the people who manage and govern our areas. So they also have some ideas. They also have some significant contributions to offer to the socio-economic development of our people. So how do we move with them? We discuss with them, we share ideas with them, and we have a council. We have a national council, National House of Chiefs, where the chiefs are represented. And on the Council of State, where His Excellency seek advice and counsel from, they are duly represented. At the regional level, we have Regional House of Chiefs. They are also here. As the regional representative of His Excellency, you discuss issues with them. You make sure you get their support so that you get all the people following them on board. And that has been working very perfect with us because they are also there to ensure that they improve upon the lives of the people upon. And his authority travels beyond Ashanti region. He has some chiefs who pay allegiance to him in Bruahafo, also in Volta region, in Eastern region, and in some other parts of this country. So Otumfuo Osei-Tutu Abebio II, the current occupant of the golden stool and the king of the people of Ashanti, is a very powerful and influential personality across the globe. Then you look at the relationship between government and the chief, especially this office and that of Otumfuo. The Otumfuo, apart from being the spiritual leader of the people of Ashanti, is also into development of the people of Ashanti region. He has a special education fund through which a lot of brilliant but needy students are being funded. He's sponsoring a lot of students and putting up a lot of school infrastructure. Yeah, we have a lot of people working here, a lot of companies in Ashanti region. He solicits funds from them and from people outside the country to be able to provide some of these services. To be honest, Otumfuo has been doing a lot of developmental projects in the region. Therefore, the major preoccupation of government and the essence of democracy is to ensure that you improve upon the lot of your people. So if Otumfuo is bringing about development and government is also thinking about how we can develop our country, then the two of us are singing the same song, and we always work in tandem to ensure that development is really brought to the people.
Well, that was the question that I...
Democracy is about ensuring that we develop our area. For me, democracy is a vehicle tested and proven across the globe as the best way or the best mechanism to ensure that we develop your country. Democracy entails, it enjoins us to involve the people in decision making, in actualizing the decisions, and then in ensuring that the benefits that will be accrued are equitably distributed. And that is exactly what we are doing here in this country. Because under democracy, you are inviting all hands to be on the wheel so that we can all contribute to create the wealth and share together. Yes, I think that Africa is ensuring the implementation of all the objectives of democracy. But we have had our fair share of the challenges inherent in democratic dispensation. From our cultural background, we were in a system that is far different from democracy. A system that preserved leadership to families and clans. A system that preserved rights of every individual in the hands of traditional authorities. A system that preserved some advantage areas, economic opportunities to people from a particular lineage. And now we have realized that without democracy, we cannot make a headway. So we go in for democracy. Definitely, one should expect that people from this background would have some challenges going democratically. So Africa, I must say, even though we have accepted in principle that the best way to develop is to adopt democratic principles of doing things, we have not understood democracy to the letter. Why am I saying this? After voting, even before you go into elections, somebody who understands democracy must have this at the back of the mind, that I'm going into elections to secure the mandate of the people to serve. And that should be the only interest, the only motivation that should drive politicians into seeking political power. If you are not given the opportunity, you wouldn't be angry. After all, you are looking for the opportunity to serve the people. But in some parts of Africa, they go into the elections They lose elections and they become angry. And then you see soldiers taking up arms and fighting, destroying properties, taking away lives, and causing a whole lot of damage to the development of society. So it means that we have to work hard to deepen our understanding of democracy. Otherwise, people think that, yes, democracy must be used to get power and serve parochial interests. So if I'm unable to get power, then those who have power will be serving their interests at my expense. That should be far from our thinking. Because democracy means getting power from the people, discussing with the people, doing with the people, and then serving the interests of the people. So those of us at leadership positions, we are rather servants. Like you have seen this morning, you have a whole number of people out there wanting to see the minister. Why? They want water to a village. Some want electricity. Some, they have roads that are in bad shape. They want the minister to ensure that these roads are constructed for them. So they come, I sit down with them, discuss with them, explain to them. If we don't have the resources, we explain to them, we don't have it. We are going to put in place 1, 2, 3, and 4 to be able to mobilize the resources to provide that facility for them. That is democracy. Am I not serving them? That's what exactly we do. So what we all need to do is to work hard to continue to educate the so-called educated, but myopic in understanding what democracy is pregnant with. What is happening in Uganda, I wouldn't want to delve into the details of whatever is happening, but I would just want to say that the people of Uganda must understand and appreciate that no matter what they do as individuals, no matter what they do as groups, they must live as one people, pursuing a common destiny. That country was a country that a lot of people have contributed to. Even in the olden days, when our forefathers had no vehicles, when they had limited knowledge in how to make use of the resources around them, when they had no knowledge in technology, they were able to manage and preserve that country for posterity. It is now the turn of the present generation to build on that solid foundation. Posterity will judge all of them as individuals and as a nation, as leaders for their contributions, whether positive or negative, today. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, while campaigning for the mandate of the people of Ghana to be able to exercise leadership in this country, articulated his agenda: better Ghana for every Ghanaian, better Ghana for all. Better Ghana entails a lot. So you break it down to broad objectives of better Ghana. What we are saying under better Ghana is that Ghana has been handed over to us to continue the development process. Where we have taken Ghana from, after 4 years, we should be able to identify significant changes in this country and convince ourselves and the people of this country that, yes, indeed, Ghana is better now. So we are saying that we are going to invest in the people of this country. How do we invest in the people of this country? You know, the development of every nation is anchored on education. So we are investing in the people by ensuring that we give them quality education, and then education at all levels is improved upon. So what we are doing now, we have started from the grassroots, where we have primary education. Primary education, we are providing at every village in this country that has a population of 500 people. They should have primary education. As a result of this, a lot of resources of this country is going into primary or basic education. Now, for me, what the opposition is doing is good for our democracy. After elections, normally per our electoral system, we do the voting at the polling stations, the counting at the polling stations. The voting and the counting, the entire process, is observed by representatives of all the political parties. I know in every constituency, we have candidates from various political parties also contesting within the same period and at the same time for parliamentary elections. We ran the parliamentary and the presidential elections side by side. So at the polling station, we vote and then we do the counting. After the counting, the ballots are put on a big table. And in the presence of the entire public, the ballots are counted. Initially, they are segregated according to parties. Party A got this, Party B got this, then we do the counting. The collation center, where pink sheets from all the polling stations, making the district or the constituency, will converge and then collate results from all the centers. If those at that level, they have any issues at all with the elections, it will be raised at that level for the district electoral officer to rule on the matter. After everything, having secured the concerns, everything of all the people around, the recordings will be done again, the collation will be done on a separate sheet, and then all the parties will append their signatures. After which, the results will be passed through the regional office of the Electoral Commission to the national office for the final collation and then declaration of results. We went through these processes successfully without any problem, any challenge at all. Then after that, the opposition decided that they are not satisfied with the results and they are not challenging the results, but they are challenging the procedures. As to whether the procedure would have affected the results is another matter to be determined by the court. Because if you talk about polling stations with different serial numbers, as is being raised in court, we have polling station B with serial number, let's say 10. Then we have C with serial number, let's say 10. Would that affect the recordings as to the number of polls candidates secured at the polling stations? Would that change that? Assuming we had no pin sheets, and then after the voting, we decided to use ordinary plain sheets, and then ask the officers to record MPP 10, NDC 50, PNC this, then the party agent signed. Wouldn't that be the recordings of these proceedings as what exactly transpired there? So if you are challenging the numbers, the serial numbers, that has nothing to do with exactly the votes that you got at the polling station. But that is a matter to be determined by the court. But why we are saying that the opposition is not in court to challenge the results, but they are challenging the process. No, actually, what is happening in Supreme Court is the best for us. As to whether the matter has some kind of credibility or not is to be determined by the court. But for them to go to court is indeed an attestation that this country is indeed a democratic state. We have decided and resolved as a nation always to champion whatever interest we have in accordance with law. We don't want a situation where we resort to violence and guns, destabilizing our societies and causing damage here and there as a way of pursuing one's interests. So it is good for Ghana, and it is indeed a shining example for the whole Africa. That look, if you are in your country and you have any issues at all with elections, don't pull arms. Don't go and kill. Don't destroy properties. Go to the court. The court of the land will determine as to whether that is credible or not. Actually, the major threat to democracy is corruption. It's corruption. Corruption in the sense that when you are seeking political power, you seek the political power through a vehicle called a political party. And in that circumstance, you move with the party and not the entire nation. Immediately you win political power, you cease to be the leader of the party and you become the leader of a nation that is made up of people from different political parties. So if you maintain the same position, the same demeanor, and the same attitude, the same style that you employed during the campaign, you are likely to fail as a leader. You must assume a national character to the extent that whatever you put into place will benefit the entire nation. But when the wealth of the nation is given to one side, whilst they contribute towards its generation, then the other side may be thinking of how they can also get the power to be able to serve their people. And that is a recipe for disaster.